it's Amanda Taro.
And I'm Anita Heath.
And we are Chelsea Michelle. If you've not read it yet, you can get our free prequel novella. We'll have a link for that in the description below.
All right, so in this video, it's actually a spoiler video.
We're talking about this story.
Yes, we are. So if you don't want a spoiler, you definitely want to pause this and grab the book and read it and come back. But if you don't mind a spoiler or you've already read it, we're going to talk about the idea of the missing person plot line. So kind of what went on behind the scenes in creating that. So do you want to kick that one off?
Well, it started out where I was like, oh, we should, we've got our main books planned, but we should have some novellas that kind of slip in between the books, and maybe they're just from one of the twins' points of view instead of being on both. That's the original idea.
Yeah, which is funny how things evolve and change, because even in the very beginning of the series, it was going to be one twin's point of view for an entire book. We were going to alternate every other book. And that changed to...
I'm so glad we didn't do that. It's so much richer to have. Even just thinking about if this novella was only from Chelsea's point of view, it's so much richer having Michelle's point of view.
Right. But even that, if you look back at it, you can tell that the bulk of the mystery itself was from Chelsea's perspective, because she's the only one conscious. Michelle's in a ditch. But that's where Michelle's dream ideas came in at, that she needed a storyline. So how do you do a missing persons idea with the person's point of view, and she knows where she's at, so it became kind of a thing that we had to figure out for ourselves.
How do you build the suspense? Even though it's not suspense, it's cozy, but how do you, we didn't want to just have Michelle in the beginning and then not there for the rest of the book, and then there at the end.
Which was an idea that we did consider.
Yes.
So, yeah. But yeah, it goes back to your original idea of basically cutting Michelle out. There was another idea. I won't tell you what it was because it's kind of a spoiler, but there was another idea to kind of flip that and give Michelle her mystery without Chelsea being present. But we did decide, especially as this being a prequel, that we needed to display both, because both is what you're going to see in the rest of the novels, the rest of the series.
And I think, I don't think we'll ever do just a standalone with one character. They build off of each other so well.
And that's become such a strong part of who Chelsea Michelle is as an author. It is having that dual point of view and the dual perspective, and bouncing off of each other's energy and strengths and weaknesses, and that has been really fun. So as you know, in this one, Michelle breaks up with Kyle, bless his heart, and she just kind of needs to get away for a little while, mostly to avoid her sister, who's going to have too many opinions on her life choices.
Whatever.
You don't have opinions?
Oh, definitely have opinions, but they're valid opinions that should be listened to.
Yes. Anyways, so Michelle takes off, but things don't go as planned. Michelle did intend to come back home, but she didn't quite make it. And she stops answering her phone because she doesn't want to deal with sister. But she doesn't realize she just scared you. In her defense, she had no idea.
Yeah.
Assumed it was about the Kyle situation. Sorry about that.
So while Michelle's conked out this whole time, I've got to write Chelsea's parts. And I'm sitting here what do you mean can they do? Because she's not technically a missing person for 24 hours. And so Kyle's not officially police officer helping them. He's as a friend helping them. And so my whole side of the story was how can they even try to track her down? And so that was, the other side of it. It wasn't just here's the missing persons, but we had to also develop this other satisfactory what happened. So actually, and we've probably mentioned this before, but the brothers weren't even supposed to be involved.
No.
They weren't. And so I think by pulling them in, that helped, really build the cozy feel and the family and just the connections and the closeness that they have. And it also just helped strengthen a lot of the story and gave it a lot more depth.
Yeah. And I think it became one of those happy accidents even, that we weren't intending one for the siblings to be there, but it became one of those things like, if you know somebody's missing and you're worried, do you not contact the family?
Right.
Like, you have to. And are they really going to stay put, or are they going to come? And so that was a lot of what kind of went into the plot, was like, all right, realistically, what do you do? Realistically, how do you handle that? And we did not give ourselves an easy mystery to start off with, because, again, as a mystery writer, you have to create something that the readers can unravel as well. And this was kind of one of those mysteries that's not a mystery, you know. It's, she has to find her, but
there aren't really any clues. I mean, there's a couple of clues to follow, but not. I guess they're chasing down leads, basically. It's kind of a chase story. They're just like, okay, tracking, and that's
right. And so adding in the threat of a serial killer and not knowing if Michelle's been captured kind of put that intensity back in, you know, like, now you're racing the clock. So it's not just a matter of finding this wild child sister of yours, but
there's a threat.
Yeah, there is. And you don't exactly know what that is. And so it wasn't an easy mystery, actually, and I think that was also by accident. That was definitely not on purpose. But trying to figure out how to make it mystery-like for the reader. And there's still an ongoing mystery.
And I would say, we kind of left it where it's like, we don't answer it.
But we do. We do answer.
Our readers aren't satisfied. Y'all aren't satisfied with the answer.
But that's the answer that they have. That is the answer. And so, did something happen? Was there somebody there with Michelle? And that answer I will not tell you. Keep reading and find out. But the idea does continue to plague Michelle. I do feel comfortable telling you that. She still feels uncomfortable since that day. Whether or not she literally physically needs therapy, or whether there is a threat lingering in her life, is something that the fans are going to have to figure out.
That's something Michelle has to figure out.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of, I guess, PTSD type of reactions, like, I'm being followed, I'm not alone, you know, that type of thing.
And she doesn't like to be alone. She does not, and that's something you immediately pick up in book 1. She is not ever really by herself, or not for very long. And that's definitely a problem for her. But maybe it's therapy, maybe it's not. We'll soon see.
So, if you haven't read it yet, hopefully you've read it, because if not, we just spoiled the whole thing for you. But, okay, if you have read it, do us a favor and tell your friends, because they can also get it for free. So send them a link to this and ask them to read it, and see if you and your friends come up with the same series, and we love to hear them.
Yep. Remember, there is a poll at the end, so if you've read it and not answered the poll, go back and do that. We check in with the poll results and see what y'all are thinking and guessing, and what your theories are and the reasons why, and that's a load of fun. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye. So anyways, what else should they know about the behind the scenes part of that?
I don't know, my brain just died.
That happens. We have to recharge.